Welcome back. Uh, a lot of times you're dealing with a trade-off between real estate on the screen and actions you want done, and being able to group the data that you need correctly without having to go from page to page to page. Um, there's a control that's been around for a while called the Tabstrip Control. Telerik has done a decent job with their Tabstrip Control, and what this does is it splits the page logically into as many tab strips as you need. So for instance, I've got a tab strip control that has 4 tabs. On one tab it's called basic information, address, email, and phone. Remember, the way we have our data organized, for each volunteer we can have one or more addresses, one or more email addresses, one or more phones. Probably groups may make sense to be in here. Either way, I started off with 4. So let's take a look at the tags. The name of the control, I'm aligning it to the left. I gave it a 801 pixel width, and the reason why is because each one of these tabs is 200 pixels wide. For right now, the auto post spec is true. I don't have any Ajax on this yet, but I probably will. The multi-page ID, in other words, the Tabstrip is looking for another control called the multi-page ID, and that multi-page ID is called RMP volunteer. Selected index is 0. Skin. Now this is a new thing. So the skin. Remember, I said you can have the skin as a variable. I'm sorry, as the theme for the grid. Well, I'm using something new. I'm sending it to the app settings, looking for Telerik.skin. If I go to the app settings, it's going to look at Telerik.skin and assign it Windows 7. So if I wanted to have my the skin of my application as a web control or web config setting, this is how we do it. So I have 4 tabs: basic information, address, email, phone, and then I have my multi-tabs which correspond to the RAD tab. So as I select 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, it's going to select 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. And then within each one of these tags, I can do I can do more control. So as a matter of fact, what I'll probably do is have this pointing to a common control for our user information, our common control for our addresses. So let's take a look to see how this renders. Now there's no data, so you're not going to see anything that's data driven, but you'll see how it's laid out. All right, it's thinking. There we go. Notice I didn't have this menu. That's not part of this page. Well, it's because the page is using what's called a master page. So the site master actually has that menu. That's why the menu shows up. Site master actually is split into 3 different parts: the head count, the feature count, and the main content. Head count, feature count, I think, is like right here, and main content. And you can see there's a footer. We're going to straighten this out. I want this footer to be at the bottom at all times. Anyway, so I've got basic information and address, email, and phone. And if I had different data in each one of those tags, let's do that. Let's say I said in here basic info. I can put regular text in my ASP, right? Just to prove that this works. Now, if you're making changes in the ASP page, after I save, I can do a refresh. I don't have to restart the application. If you're making changes in the code behind, you got to restart the app. So I'm saving. I come back over here, F5 refresh. Ask me if I want to continue. I should see basic info, right? Address info, email info, and phone info. Let's stop for a second because I do want to try one thing real quick, and that's use the Ajax stuff. I'll show you how easy it is to do that. Again, once you get it done right, you steal code. So I'm going to steal from our manage org, and then I'm going to change it for what I need over here. So Ajax manager is fine. That stays the same. The control ID is really going to be my Tabstrip control ID now. Okay. So what should happen now? I think this is all I have to do. What should happen now is if I type those tabs, as I click a tab, it should just Ajaxify. I shouldn't have to do a post back. Let's see what happens. I'm sure it's going to fail because I'm recording this video. No, I think I got it. There we go. So as I click this, watch for that little Ajax flashy thing. You're not going to see a post back, hopefully. Yep. No post back. No post back. Yep. You know what? I didn't get a post back, but I also didn't get it refreshed. So that tells me I have my Ajax right, but I have my settings wrong. So let's go back to this and start messing around with settings now. So I think let's try this. So what I'm trying to say here is as I update that tab, I want to update the tab page on multi-page information. So I'm just going to do basic and address and see what happens now. Now, I'll take that back. When you make changes like this, and you're messing around with the Ajax, you probably do have to restart the application. Okay. RAD page view collection must contain RAD page view objects. Okay, so it's saying, okay, how about we try this? This is the restart. Yay, look at that. So I got it right. So what this says is, as I update the RAD tab strip, force an update to the multi-page control. Under the multi-page control, you had the page view controls. So that makes sense. As I change this, it's going to require a change in that. Ajax is cool. I mean, it's probably resource intensive, but trust me, versus postbacks, it's the one thing you'll see if you had postback versus non-postback is you'll see a lot of flashes on the screen. When I start to have more and more controls with data, it's a lot clearer when you're doing Ajax. All right, so the work now is to start building up common controls to handle, let's say, basic information, right, or handle the address information. So the common controls will be in common. I'll have a control called UC basic info, UC address info, UC email info, and so forth. And the controls will handle all the information. So if in other words, we remember in Manage Org where we did the CRUD control. So the CRUD control would be in each one of those common controls. This form itself, the volunteer form, it's going to be really clean. The code behind it, there's nothing to it. As a matter of fact, I literally think there's nothing to it. There's no it's just a page load because there's no data that's in this so far. Okay, very good. So this was an introduction to the Tabstrip control and Ajaxifying the Tabstrip control. Thank you very much. Bye.